Welcome back. We will be looking at another approach. It's a little bit complementary to Kaizen also called target costing. But understand this target costing is not necessarily the only supplementary component within Kaizen costing, right? It's a standalone technique, but it does help Kaizen a lot because of the continuous improvement approach it has. But it can be used standalone. So let's take a look at what target costing actually means and how it helps an organization. Target costing involves setting a target cost by subtracting a desired profit from a competitive market price. Okay, let's understand it this way by looking at the steps. So, how does target costing work? Firstly, step one is, let's say you have a product. Okay, before that, it actually starts during the design stage. Before the product is actually uh, manufactured. And before production begins, you do the target costing process. How? First, you take the product, you benchmark, you look at your market research, all of that, and you come up with a price. What is the market price that you want to sell this product at? Depending on your strategy, maybe you want to be a cost leader, maybe you have other plans, maybe you want to be a premium price product, which is of advanced and high quality. So, whatever, depending on your strategy, you come up with a market price, something that is practical, something that customers will be willing to pay. That's step one. Step two is from that market price, you will deduct your desired margin. So, let's say I want to sell a mobile phone and my market price, I want to sell it at 100. I want to sell a good phone, but for $100. What is my desired profit? This is step two. So, I say that I want a profit of 40 dollars. So then you calculate from deducting or by deducting the desired profit from the market price, that is 100 minus 40, you arrive at a target cost. Now our target cost is 100 minus 40, $60. This brings to us to step the third step, which is essentially the result of that gap between the market price, the estimated planned market price, and the desired profit margin. So 100 minus 40, $60. This is called the cost gap. You identify your cost gap. Or rather, actually, a part of that is, in fact, looking at your actual current cost. So let me repeat this. By deducting the desired margin from your desired market price, you arrived at something called the target cost. So you have the target cost. Okay. Now, what you do is you look at the actual scenario, what you actually can, what prices of components are there in the actual market, in the real world, and you see whatever you want to do with this target cost, you see what is the actual cost that you have to spend for that. So, I do want to manufacture this product, this mobile phone at $60. And then I shop around, I look at the components, I look at factories, I talk to network communication equipment manufacturers, all of that, and I look at the actual cost of what I want to do for 60. The actual cost comes to, let's say, 64, right? So I realize that currently, even though I do want to get this done by 60 or from $60, I actually have to spend 64. The difference between the 64 and 60, which is $4, the amount that I have to spend extra to reach my that currently is over my target cost, the $4. This is what we call the cost gap, right? So this is the understanding. And then what you do is you try everything possible. You try what you can. You come up with methods. You innovate, maybe BPR, whatever, whatever method, whatever approach. Maybe you invent new equipment. Maybe you come up with new technology. Somehow using small steps or big steps or whatever, something practical, something attainable, something workable, you try to close this cost gap. You try to bring down your actual cost of 64 to 60. This is called target costing, so that you can get your desired margin. Because end of the day, if the product's actual acceptable market price is 100, what will happen is that this cost gap will be taken away from your desired margin, so your margins will fall. So instead of If you can't, let's say for example in this case, if you cannot manufacture the product for $60, obviously, and it's 64, you're trying your best, currently it's 64, that means you can't increase the price of the product to 100, from 100 to 104, and say I'm selling it for 104. This will actually eat away your customers. So what you will have to do is, instead of taking the $40 desired margin, you'll have to reduce it and take a $36 desired margin. So it is, from that perspective, it is quite safe also, because you, depending on what kind of expansive desired margin you have, your safety margin is bigger. But what if you keep or what if you want to penetrate the market? What if your strategy is different? What if you want to be the cost leader? So in these cases, this will actually be quite helpful and challenging as well, because you want to bring down the cost to your best. Okay. Now, where does Kaizen actually, or where does target costing actually fit in target costing? Because, or rather, where does target costing fit inside Kaizen costing? Kaizen is continuous improvement. Target costing is something that is used in Kaizen. Now, it happens by revising the target cost. So, when you're using target costing in Kaizen, what you're doing is you identify your target cost, initial target cost, and then what you do is you have all these, you try different methods to bring down your actual cost to that target cost. So if you are implementing this in a Kaizen environment, let's say you achieve the target cost. Let's say we brought down the cost from 64 to 60. If you achieved it, now you are not happy, or now you don't say, all right, I got the job done. Not that. That doesn't happen in Kaizen. In Kaizen, what you will do is you will revise that target cost again. You will try to bring it down. So 60, okay, I achieved 60. Now my new target cost is 58. If you hit 58, now my new target cost is 57. So can you see how continuous improvement is embedded? How continuous improvement is enabled by target costing within a Kaizen environment? So this is how target costing actually fits into the picture of the Kaizen environment. Before we, a few things just to touch on our key features of target costing. It forces a focus on the customer, because you're starting with the market price that the customers are willing to pay. That customers will be willing to pay. So that's one point. Successful target costing considers all the costs, and it does before the manufacturing starts. It considers the entire life cycle. And costing begins very early in the development stage, not even in the manufacturing stage. It's a multidisciplinary approach which involves staff from all functions in the analysis and decision making, and it is an iterative process, especially in a Kaizen environment. You keep on improving, you keep on changing, you keep on revisiting, and target costing provides cost targets for individual components and individual inputs as well. So if our $60 product is being made up of, let's say, 4 components, what we can do is we can break that $60 into target costs for each of the components and hand it over to the responsible parties, telling them, just try to achieve your respective target costs for each of the components, because the total will add up to the 60. So there is delegation enabled. It can provide targets. It can improve employee morale, because you can also give them the freedom to decide how they want to address this. So that is target costing, and how target costing actually works. We will be looking at total quality management in the next segment. Thank you and good luck.